evening, and welcome everyone. I am your host, First Lady Lakeitha London, and this is First and Foremost. And this is the third season of First and Foremost. And if you didn't know from all of my promos, I am so excited to be back in this chair. Why? Because there's still so many voices yet to be heard from our beautiful First Lady. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone who supported me for your prayers, for your just showing up on the set here and calling into the show for the 2 seasons. And I'm hoping you're joining me again tonight. I'm just so excited to have this fan base because without you, the show can't even happen. So I'm so grateful. I wanted to give a shout out to Pastor Moderator Ryan Johnson because he is one of the men who love the show, one of the pastors who love the show and enjoy the show. I wanted to give a shout out to Pastor Clark as well as Pastor Brooke and Pastor Brock. I apologize. And if your wife is ready, the first chair is going to be waiting for her as well. So I just wanted to thank those men for supporting the show. We were talking just a few minutes ago about the men watching the show and the reason that they're watching the show. But for whatever the reason is, I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful that they think that it's good content. So I want to thank my sponsors, Elegant Beauty Cosmetics. Elevate Your Beauty with Elegant Beauty. She has a new line out, and I certainly will add that to my story. Tailor-made bodybuilding and construction. My sister, if your body isn't becoming to you, then you need to be coming to Audrey. She's still available. Her books are hot because, at the beginning of the year, everybody wants to work out. So, so if you want to get with her, you might try May or June because that's when people fall off. Hopefully you'll stick to your diet and certainly to your resolution. I want to acknowledge today is Women's History Month. So we will be talking about some first ladies who've made some history. And today is also Black Women's Day of Rest. And before we introduce our first lady, I just wanted to say it is Black Women's Day of Rest. Very interesting that they would give us a National Day of Rest. Someone knows something. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy to have my guest here tonight. Again, her husband introduced me to her, and I'm so excited that he wanted to have her on the show. And I wanted to have her on the show, so I'm so glad and so excited to introduce you tonight, Lady Sheena Richardson. She is the First Lady of Metropolitan Memorial Baptist Church. So we're sending shout outs to Pastor Richardson and to all the family and friends. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to First Lady Sheena Richardson.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
As always, our first ladies seem to be very nervous. But again, I told her by the time the show is over, she's going to be like, is it over already? So I am just so excited. We usually just start out with a few first lady questions, and then we get into something personal. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the role of the first lady has changed over the years?
Absolutely.
And in which way?
I've been in church all my life, from Apostolic to Church of our Lord Jesus Christ, Solomon's Temple on the east side of Detroit, and now Baptist. And migrating from Apostolic or Church of our Lord Jesus Christ to Baptist, in the Apostolic or at Solomon's Temple, the women preachers were not respected. Back when I was attending the church, and going over to New Prospect, we had a woman pastor, a one-man pastor, late Reverend Woman Johnson, God rest her soul. And times have truly changed because it went from me attending the church as a child, and my pastor was a male and he had a wife. Well, that's a different situation, and then migrating over to New Prospect where it was a woman in the role, and her husband was not exactly sure the first gentleman, however they would acknowledge. And times have truly, truly changed from different ways of interacting and from dressing. It's just a lot of different dynamics I've seen over the years.
And I'm sure you have just the whole, and I don't know if that's religious or what is the foundation for Baptist and Apostolic, that transition.
Yes.
So I'm sure that's different.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that's different. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I am going to ask Lady Sheena Richardson to talk to us about who she is, her parents, her upbringing, and how she fell in love with her husband.
Okay, where do we start?
Always the beginning.
Well, I am the 8th of 9 kids.
Wow.
I have 4 sisters and 4 brothers.
Oh, so you're in the middle somewhere?
I'm next to the baby, so little spoiled, but nothing's wrong with that.
Nothing's wrong with that at all. You're preaching to the choir.
Well, I've been going to church all my life, and as far as I remember, I've had a great love for the Lord, a love for Christ. I've always loved to attend church. I always loved to dress to go to church. So it was always in me, and as I went on throughout life, from my teenage years to my high school years to my college years, I never strayed away from the Lord. I always kept him in the center of everything I did. Wow. I would go to school, go to work, and make sure I wouldn't miss church events, or even when I went to college, I come home on weekends and I faithfully attended church. I had my friends go to church, and nieces and nephews, and so it over time, I think the Lord was preparing me for where I am today. So it's an exciting journey that I know the Lord created specifically for me. Specifically for me.
I love that. Well, tell me how you fell in love with your husband.
Oh, mercy. Well, Mr. Richardson.
Pastor
the well-renowned Facebook. It would be times he would make little passes on Facebook or like little pictures and things. Okay. I don't know if I'm telling too much.
Never too much. Right. Never too much. First and foremost, never too much.
I'm like, Pastor, trying to hit me. I'm like, not little me.
Well, you're beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. And then, what is me? I'm so sassy. I had a message to one day like, you liking all my pictures on Facebook? It's drawing attention. Yeah, it's drawing attention. You might want to slow down. And he responded. I said, you gonna give me something to talk about? No, I said you might want to slow down. Everybody gonna see it or something. He said, we're gonna give him something to talk about. I said, I wasn't ready for that.
Are we ever?
Never. It was God's plan. So it was quite interesting. The rest is history.
So this was an online date?
No.
Online meeting?
Well, I knew him from church. Okay. I knew of him. I never personally got close to him. He was the lead interim pastor at the time at our church. And we were in the transition from losing our pastor and him taking the lead role. Okay. And I would reach out to him on different occasions pertaining to my younger son and, him talking to him. But never did I see that. It caught me by storm. I was like, oh, okay. Wow. The conversation was always clean and very respectable, and he had great mannerism, and one thing led to another, and here we are today. And I've always seen, I met Pastor Richardson at my previous job, and he always seemed so, everybody loved him. They always wanted Pastor Richardson to come to do the services, so they definitely loved his word. And we were always just in passing. We, never really acknowledged each other like some of the other ministers. So the day that I had gotten fired, he was in the office, and he approached me about, First Lady, while I'm in the office with my ex-boss, I love the show. First Lady, please give me your information. I want to make sure that my wife gets on the show. I was so appreciative at that moment because I needed her to know when one door closes, that was opening right up. Yes,
right in front of her. You can't even deny how real God is.
Absolutely.
And you talk about an on-time God.
Yes.
God, I was able to walk out of there with my head held high.
Beautiful.
There's something after this door.
Yes.
So thank you, Pastor Richardson, for that. Thank you. So I can see him being a little smooth only after that conversation. I can see him being smooth. So thumbs up to you, Pastor Richardson. So what do you enjoy doing? What are you doing your pastime?
Oh, my husband is watching. I love to shop.
Oh, well, you're in the right seat. How many first ladies have we heard say that, guys? Lots of them. We said lots of them.
No, from time to time, I definitely invest in the Word because that helps me get through my day on a day-to-day. Life is a bit much right now, especially in this climate. So throughout the day, I definitely tap into my praise and worship from morning, noon, even during the work hours. My coworkers be like, "Oh, you don't really listen with church music. You're a little spicy, but you got the gospel." I do. I do. So,
I tell people, first ladies come in all shapes and sizes.
Absolutely.
We're doing all kind of things, but our focus is our Lord and Savior
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ. We can dress and do first and foremost. You heard it here. First and foremost, God is our Lord and Savior. I mean, I don't think our dress in particular speaks about our hearts.
Absolutely.
So good for you. And anyway, so you love to shop. What are your shopping? Do you do consignments? Do you do real stores? Do you have a particular shop that you love?
I think I've crossed every avenue when it comes down to fashion, design, you name it. I've had an online business.
Oh, wow.
I've done co-signing. I actually sold something the other day that I listed 6 months ago.
Oh,
like
wow.
it was just a blind sale. I love to dress people a lot. Oftentimes people call me for advice, especially having 4 sisters and 2 daughters. So it's factored all throughout my life. Even when it comes out of my work uniform. One time I came to work and a girl was following me, had me with the recorder like, "Oh, she just got wear her little blazer and her little my cardigan, and she got her work tie." I said, "I just want to be presentable at all times."
At all times, even in this uniform. Even in this uniform, and that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
So that kind of talks a little bit about your style. And I know, as First Lady, I know you're a little dressed down, if I could say.
Yes.
What are your dress type at church, and especially because you said you come from an apostolic background, so I know how they dress. So how are you transitioning in your style?
Well, I'm okay with the new traditional way that we're doing church nowadays, because you don't want to run people from the church. You want to draw them to the church.
Absolutely.
And growing up at Solomon's Temple, we had to wear skirts that definitely passed our knees, head coverings, and you name it. So that's kind of instilled in me, and I'm very modest when I dress. I always dress in layers, or I'm always careful with how, especially being young and now a first lady. I'm always cautious with how I present myself. One thing I very rarely do, which I could probably count on one hand how many times I've done it in my adulthood, is I rarely wear pants to church. It's just something about it where, again, I think it's just instilled in me from my childhood. I'm always in a dress or a skirt, and 90% of the time I'm putting on some stockings, some pantyhose.
That's good. I don't think, people complain about the way it used to be. Some of those old ways are still good ways, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
Stockings,
I totally agree.
slips, things of that nature. I don't think that's old fashioned at all.
Well, the younger generation is the future of the church, and we have to allow them a little room to have some say so to keep the church going and continue to build the church. So it's a catch-22. You got to give a little to get a little.
That's true. Now that is true. Now you've got daughters?
Yes.
How many daughters?
2.
And how old are they?
19 and 12.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! You're catching it from both areas.
I'm glad you know.
I have a 12-year-old, and she's going on 26.
God bless you.
It's so hard not to clock out. I mean, I just mean clock out.
Literally.
Like you're doing what you're trying to do, but I have to keep my hand on it.
Yes,
and so how do you keep your hand on your basically, based on what you just said about these are the future of our churches and giving them a little wiggle room. But as parents, as church is one thing, but as parents, and you're seeing, again, when the hat comes off, because kids change at home too, how do you handle that? How do you keep a hold to that? What's happening?
Must you know?
I want to know.
My 19-year-old and I were best friends yesterday, having conversations and FaceTiming, and today it was like the cloud turned gray and the rain started pouring, and I said, I'm gonna catch you later. I'm not doing this with you today.
Right.
So it was literally a roller coaster. But I enjoy parenthood. I thought I had it by a storm, but it comes with its ups and its downs.
That it does.
And even the challenges, I enjoy them because this is what I signed up for, and I enjoy every twist and turn it has to offer me.
That is so wonderful.
Yes.
And you know what? You may as well embrace it.
Absolutely.
Because you have to do it.
I signed up for it.
Absolutely. And that's just, what did my bishop say? Truth be told.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But with your 12-year-old, what is she into? What is she into that you don't want her to be into?
So at this age, she's still impressionable, and she has a lot of her innocence still, but she's at that fragile age of going into her teenage years where she's being faced with so many alternatives as to whether or not she should stay on this side of the fence or go on that side of the fence. I can't choose their friends for them. I can offer my advice and my opinions and what little wisdom I have, but in the same breath, it's like, okay, you want to go out here and make these decisions on your own. You're going to see like your 19-year-old sister did, and you're going to come back and with I told you shows and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Mm-hmm. So I have her in orchestra and figure skating and track. So I try to keep her busy with that to keep her away from all the other things I know she shouldn't be into. There's so much access to the different things that are out here and available for these kids. I'm trying to protect her by all costs. But in the same sense, she go out, these kids gonna test the waters when we're not around.
Absolutely.
So my job is to just try to will her back in every time.
Every time. That's good advice. That conversation right there is going to be continued. It looks like we have a question, Sister Jean.
Yeah, I didn't get the name of the individual, but it was a two-part question. One of the questions was, what did you find most challenging about being the first lady of your church?
I'll repeat the question. What do you find most challenging about being a first lady at your church?
So far, and I don't want to sound too cliche, but I don't find it so much as a challenge. I enjoy this position that the Lord has made available for me. I love people. Do they work every nerve in my body? Yes. Sometimes, and I want to shut the world down? Absolutely. But I will say, for the most part, being in the younger generation, it's hard to embrace. Not hard. I'm not going to say they're hard to embrace. Some are hard to embrace, being that my husband is in leadership, and then I'm walking beside him, and sometimes people don't quite respect you when you're not at a certain age range. So it's like, do I gotta handle this, or do I gotta let him handle it?
Yes.
So I mean, I guess if you want to say what's challenging, I would say being in this little age window, it can be challenging.
It can
sometimes.
Be challenging. I definitely.
You just got to know how to handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know how old you are, but I'm certain that you're quite, well, just from this conversation, quite mature. So I can, and then you've got children, so they mature you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Second part of the question. My apologies.
The second part of the question, you were talking about. They heard you talking about your children.
Yes.
The other question was, what are you or your church doing to bring in the younger people and keep them engaged and staying in?
Well, one thing that I love that my husband do is he allowed the young adults to create different pathways to interest the younger generation. We're still in the middle, somewhere in there. We're in that little sweet spot where we're riding away to be an auntie and uncle and still trying to be cool.
Yeah.
So we kind of ease our way in, and he allowed the young adults, probably like, I'll say we're at the 35 and under.
Okay.
35 is the new 25.
Exactly.
A lot of them navigate certain things and then create things to capture their interest, like painting with a twist, or maybe a karaoke night here or there, or a movie night. Just different things that'll draw them in and keep them interested. Thank
you, caller, for those questions. So getting back to your 12-year-old, I think the most important thing is keeping kids busy.
Absolutely.
Because as long as they're idle and at home, they're going to be on this.
Yes.
So are the programs you're putting her in, mommy is taking her, picking her up?
Mommy and stepdad. It's so interesting just to see the days go by, because we're a young, thriving couple with a church that is on a rise.
Yes.
And it's always something, whether it's home, work, kids, church, work, it's always something. But we work very well together because we're used to being so busy all of the time.
That's
so
good.
It works out.
That's
works
good.
out.
And it is a balancing act, no
Absolutely.
matter what. And do you find, and I think this is just historically, women are the more giving the balance?
I believe so.
Yeah, traditionally.
We had a conversation about that recently. I believe so. Men have a way of moving, I'm not going to say subconsciously, but women, when we move, I like to say we move for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
The kids, the dog, the
Yes.
house, you name it.
Yes.
And men, they tend to often, no offense guys, think about what's directly in front of them.
Exactly.
And I hope I didn't offend anyone with saying that. And it's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just, we think for I'm thinking about my job, my kids, the dog, the house, the water that's running, everything.
All of that.
So, and I don't know if it's just me. I don't know how to turn off.
No, it's not. It's not just you. It's not just you. That's what part of the problem is, because I think innately when we do this, we can't turn it off. We just do it. I think it's so important for us, especially on today when it says National Black Women's Day of Rest. I really can't even believe that. But when something like that happens, we take that moment to say, I need a minute.
Yeah.
I need to just process all that I'm carrying.
And literally, all we want is a minute.
That's it. Literally. Literally. No mama, no sweetie, honey, sugar pie, no nothing. Just a minute. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And speaking of that, so what do you do? Shopping apparently is your thing. But who do you pour into? Who is your circle? What's going on? Since you come from sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Is it most of you and your sisters?
Mostly, but I can't overwhelm them. Because if I overwhelm them, then it's going to turn into a bunch of not a bunch, but some clashing. So I rotate the sisters around, but also.
She said she rotate them around. I love it.
Also, I had a best friend who transitioned back in 2024. And I would talk to her day in and day out. So she lifted a lot of burdens off of me. And then once she passed, I adopted me a grandmother from New Prospect. God bless Miss Donnie. She's 94 now, but I've been tied to the hip with her since my best friend passed away. And I talk to her 3, 4, 5 times a week if I'm lucky. And we have little outings, and she just has so much wisdom. And she let me be me. And I love that about her, because I don't have to hold any punches when I'm talking to her. It don't matter what it is.
Well, it sounds like you're in a good spot, because when you're older, they say what comes up comes out. And you need to hear that. Sometimes we need to hear that, and that it's unbiased. It's just real, because
absolutely.
she's got 90 plus years of wisdom.
And
I think I want to be told that from somebody.
Absolutely.
I think that, because that's the only way I'm going to
somebody who's been somewhere and did a few things.
Exactly. And speaking of someone who's been somewhere and done some things, I was just coming back from travel, and one of the things on my to-do list was to get an opportunity to read this book, Just Let Me Tell You, from Lady Cynthia Perkins Smith, who was a guest here right before the end of the season. And it's 50 years A Pastor's Wife. And I wanted to read it because my husband and I just celebrated 10 years, but he's been a pastor for 53 years. Thank you for that. Congratulations. Thank you for that. He's been a pastor for 53 years. She's been a first lady for 50 years. And I wanted to read this book because I thought that it would give insight to basically what you just summed up about how it has changed and evolved. This speaks volumes about the people who are in her life and who've helped her along the way. Because a lot of times we don't maintain those resources that mom and dad had back in the day. But sometimes if you hold on to that, they can take you someplace.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
this book let me see that she was able to do that. But in the back of the book, she had some 10 tips for every successful minister's wife. Now, I think minister's wife, I don't know, sometimes that popped out because it's different. It's when you're a pastor or when you're a minister. It's different because it's the pastor. You're in front of this person. Okay. Number 1, she said, acknowledge God in all of your undertakings. Ask yourself, is it good for God? Just as a first lady.
Okay.
Always remember that you are the helpmeet and not the leader or the advisor. Now, what does that
that piece. Number 2 kind of struck me odd because it's like, don't. I'm just saying, am I misinterpreting? Stay in your lane, know your role. What does
Stay
it
in your lane, Avenue. Because the both of you can't tackle it head on. You gotta let one take the lead and you walk beside them. You can't take something that was meant for your husband and try to make it yours. Your job is to help him along the way. It's okay to be there for people. Naturally, I'm helping everybody when I don't have it to give.
And that's what I'm gonna say.
Physically, mentally.
And that's what I'm gonna say. You're not trying to take away from pastors, but sometimes they will come to you.
Absolutely.
And what do you defer their feelings to pastor? Defer their current financial situation to pastor?
Okay.
You do it. You do that. So that's what I'm saying. Keep an open line of communication with your spouse. How do you rate that on a scale of 1 to 5 in marriage?
Oh, that definitely needs to be like a 5.
Like a 5.
An open line of communication, absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know you guys are just married, but has there ever been a lull in communicating? You say, "Hey, wait a minute."
Absolutely.
And
It happens.
And are you the one to acknowledge it and say, "Hey, wait a minute, let's get back on track"?
In almost 7 years, I'm not holding up. If I feel like it's some lack, sometimes I'm not quick to jump on top of things. I sit back and see how things are going to play out. Because he may be going through something. I may be going through something. And then we got to bring it back, will it back in. It's time. Hey, okay, a couple days. Okay, let me go to see what's going on over there.
I love that. I love that because that's just real. That
Absolutely.
is just real. This is what happens when these hats come off. There's a relationship behind here.
Yes.
And I have to keep it going.
Yes.
By whatever means necessary, I hope. One of the others that she mentioned here, I just thought was just interesting. Don't let another minister's wife set the standard for you. Neither your household nor your relationship with your spouse.
I love that.
I love that too.
Because your walk is your walk. You can't take on someone else's walk. What's meant for you is for you. What works for them, and what works for them may not work for you.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
I love that too. And I think anytime you're trying to be yourself, what do they say? Emulation is the best form of flattery. Imitation is the best form of flattery. I don't know, because I can't be you. I can dress like you and do all of this, but I can't.
It's not gonna come off the same.
Exactly. So we really can only be
who we were created to be.
Absolutely. So I do love that. Be careful in selecting confidence, and this is why I asked you who pours into you. It says, "Be careful selecting confidants. However, your friends may be many." And maybe this is what you're talking about with this. Yeah, you can have many friends, but you can only have one confidant.
I'm choicey on the whole friend aspect of that too.
I hear you. For sure. And what are your thoughts about that? In your circle, how do you?
Well, everything ain't for everybody.
True.
You have certain friends that serve certain purposes. So with that, I'm going to go to this friend for fashion tips. I'm going to go to that friend for cooking tips. I'm going to go to that friend to talk about the people at work.
Exactly.
Because my sisters ain't going to want to hear about my job every day.
I know that's right. Okay.
But it's not many that I call friends. Okay. I love a lot of people and I have a lot of associates. Of course. But not many that I call friends. Not many friends,
yeah. And I agree with that. It looks like we have another question. Sister Jean.
Yes, Michael Lynch from New Jerusalem.
Hey, Michael.
He said, "What do you do for me time when you want to decompose?
Not
you
decompose.
Just want to be
decompress.
Decompress. I'm sorry. Decompress. When you just want to be by yourself and let the weight of the world slip away, what do you do?"
That's a good question. Our life is so demanding, but now I'm learning, as in 2026, it's time to shut the world off, and I would, if I get a day off, I go get a massage or go get a facial or go get a mani-pedi. Just take some time to me. Sometimes I drive around listening to worship music. I love to do that. I do that any given day over a massage, and I just love this. My God, they know if I ain't doing that dance, I'm gonna be listening to some gospel.
That's right. Thank you very much, Michael Lynch, for that question. So, speaking of that, when you're
I think during our first time, I apologize. You don't sing. You cannot sing.
In the car alone,
Okay.
when I'm having my worship. So I don't know if that's considered singing, but
Well, no one knows but you.
I may have a little something in here, but it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. Like so many things. And speaking of talents, you shared with us that you were just recently in a stage play. I want to hear all about it. Talk to me about that.
I think it's so much deep down inside of me. I will I'm not going to say I will open these doors. I will tap into some things and then get nervous and pull back out. And I got to quit doubting myself. I know it's a lot in store for me, and I have a lot to offer. I just got to branch out a little bit, and God been opening doors, like sitting here today.
Yes.
And even the stage play, it's things that I never would have saw coming my way, and it's just like, Lord, thank you. I needed that because it's helping me get to who I want to be.
Absolutely. Well, who do you want to be? You said it. Who do you want to be?
All I know how to be is me, but I know it's so much work for me to do out here.
Yeah.
And I gotta stop holding myself up, getting in my own way. It's I know I love to help people, and I know it's a place for me out here.
Absolutely.
I just gotta, just reach down and pull it out. But again, being here today is giving me more confidence to push myself to be who I was destined to be.
I'm so glad to hear that. But talk to me about the stage play, your role and your sassiness and the designers, and how did this come about, and
Woe is me. I'm always putting my foot in my mouth. So an invitation was extended for me to come to the play, and the cost was covered and tickets were on them, and I said, well, I'll accept the invitation, but next time I better have a role. I'm not even
joking.
I'm not even talking to the person who played, who was over.
That's awesome.
Actually her mother, the girl who was putting on the play. Thank you, Deidre Thompson, for the opening those doors. And she went back and told her daughter right away, and she got right back with me like, yeah, come to rehearsal on X, Y, and Z. And it was like that same week, and I'm like, what's going on? Did I read this correctly?
That is so
and
awesome.
I was faithful and committed, and nervous is I don't know what, because I haven't danced in years. And
oh wow, it was a dancing part.
Yeah, but I kind of backed out a little bit. I didn't do all of the dancing parts. I did some, but it gave me an opportunity to realize that I do have some hidden gifts and talents that I can birth in the coming years.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's wonderful, and it's really about exploring yourself. And then I don't like to be out speaking, but if people ask me to speak, I'm finding that that's something that I'm kind of enjoying now. So you never really know, and I certainly have a story to tell. So I think that's the beginning of it. So do you see yourself pursuing any of that? Any gospel plays, things of that nature? Because I know if Michael Lynch is listening, since he asked that question, and you see how beautiful she is, so I'm sure you're going to find a spot for her somewhere in our next modeling event or his next show. So anyway, so do you see yourself doing any of that?
I don't oppose. One thing about me is I'm a people person, but I'm like a fake introvert. Like, I can talk to you all day long, but do not put me on Front Street. Do not put me in front of the audience.
Understood.
It's like,
and let me ask you a question. When you and your now husband met, did he know that you were this outgoing? Is this one of the characteristics that he liked about you? That you were outgoing, that you took chances?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Only people that know that I'm outgoing is the people who interact with me on a daily. Because I can talk all day long, but, well, I don't want to get it misconstrued, because a lot of people take my personality for something it's not, and maybe it is. I just don't see it. See, a lot of people think that I'm outspoken and I can do all this, these public events, and I'm like, that's not me. Like, even when it comes down to how I dress, people might think I like attention. I don't know, but I'm like, no, I just want to be sitting in the background, just
and you just want to be me.
Yes,
you just want to be me.
Yes.
Yeah, and I understand that.
The show is about me too sometimes. So I said this all the time. You know, sometimes I just reach in the closet and pull something out, and what I'm doing is for me. I'm creating it for me. I'm not. If I get attention, that's fantastic. But I have my own sense of style.
Absolutely.
You know, especially as a first lady. I didn't want to bring this up, but I guess it's inevitable because we're talking about style in particular and how we're presenting ourselves. The infamous dress. What are your thoughts about that? And I bring that up only because you said that you knew when you had on certain, I don't want to wear this. So in the back of your mind, you knew. So do you think she knew in the back of her mind? Because I think most women do. And I'm not causing controversy.
Absolutely.
But as a first lady, and it's worthy to be talked about.
I've been asked the questions on a couple occasions, and I weighed in on it.
Me too.
Even not as a first lady, you have to be a good character of judgment. When it comes down to certain things and certain audiences, in which I know we're not doing it for them, we're doing it for us.
Absolutely.
You have to kind of be careful, and especially with different hats that you wear and roles that you're playing.
Yes.
So I look at it like maybe if the dress was all black and it still had the extra details and embellishments, or maybe if a shawl was thrown over her shoulder, could have kind of camouflaged it or something. I just think about the what ifs, but I'm very big on always checking myself before I present myself to other people. It's not about them.
Right, it's about you.
Yeah, it's about me. So I want to be a great representation of myself. It's always my favorite line is I'm never going to embarrass myself or my husband.
Absolutely.
And I've been this way all my life. I remember before even marrying my husband, when we went to the church, I would be messing around with the youth at the church. And there was one girl named Destiny. She would always say, "Okay, first lady, okay, first lady," and she put that thing in the atmosphere. And here I was.
Wow, first lady.
Yeah, that thing turned around. So. You know, it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Absolutely.
So it could have been the dress, but the illusion gave something else.
Absolutely. And I know there was
wisely.
And you have to choose wisely. And the First Lady Joanne Matthews was the first lady on my show, and the first thing that she said, "You are being watched, first ladies.
You're being
all
watched. Over the place.
All over the place.
All over the place.
People are waiting to see you at your worst."
Absolutely, they're waiting.
They're waiting.
I mean, you talk about paparazzi. They ain't got nothing on
yes.
them. So it's like you have to pick and choose.
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 That's why I say when it comes down to the way I dress and how I choose to navigate through being a young first lady, I have to really put things into perspective before putting myself out there.
Exactly.
So,
and you're just checking yourself, and that's what I say. Anytime you've got self-doubt, you know you shouldn't wear it. If
you gotta question it, you might want to go redirect it.
Absolutely.
Even when it comes down to me wearing certain things, I'm like, I might need to put a tight on. I wore a dress down here Sunday, almost to my ankles, and I was like, I think I need to put on some stockings. But I couldn't find my new tights, and I was like, I have to take this L today. I'm just have to go in there and put my little lap cloth on, although it's shorter than my dress. But so you just gotta weigh out your options.
You really do.
When you choose to take those titles and walk that walk, you gotta make sure you're walking the right, especially your representation of Christ.
And your representation of Christ, and your church, and your husband, and your children. And I think that's kind of where we forget, because you represent, just like being the wife. You got a lot.
Yes. I like Dr. K. Bryant, but that's what she was.
I do too. I just wanted to bring it up because it is a show about first ladies, and we've had these conversations before, and people ask me, but I definitely know that if I ever doubted myself, I don't care how sexy it looks, I'll be like, this is
might want to go in the closet. We might be running a little late, baby, but I'm gonna be back.
Yeah. And I have to honestly believe I wanted to throw this party. It was called, now where did I think I was wearing that to? Do you have one of those outfits in your closet?
I'm sure I do.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's in the closet somewhere, way in the back, waiting for this opportunity to come.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because
on a cruise ship out the country.
Out the country where nobody knows your name. Where nobody knows your name. I'm not going to even talk about that because I'm just returning from a cruise. And I don't even want to talk about that. So yes. How do you separate, just because we're having this conversation too, because I love Kay Bryant too. I'm a fan. sometimes I think I put them more in the category of celebrities than first ladies and husband, because then I can understand the style.
Absolutely.
Because you're imitating what you see there. The home churches don't do that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. But yeah, love her.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, how do you separate, or is there a separation between husband and pastor?
Absolutely. It
Talk
has
to me
be.
about it.
It has to be. My husband, as a pastor, is for my covering. Well, that's his job as a husband as well. But when I'm lost and I want to learn something pertaining to the Bible, or when I feel like I'm just in over my head, then I feel like his pastoring skills kick in, and it actually ties into the two. But I definitely do separate the two, because even when it come down to him, when he has to show up for others, the pastoring is separate.
Absolutely.
You know, it's kind of like inevitable. It's included in our everyday life, but it's times where he has to cut it off and then pick back up when it's time to pick back up.
Absolutely.
So,
are you telling him that? Is that something that's what do they say, unspoken? Do you have to say, husband, I need the husband now? Are you sometimes verbalizing those words so that he can maybe separate the two?
at times I have to. At times I have to, because that job is I'm not gonna say never ending, but it's one of those jobs that's always on call. You
Yes.
never know what life holds.
Absolutely.
It could be someone experiencing a death in the middle of the night. It could be
Yes.
someone that be on the verge of feeling like they want to, I don't want to,
Right.
but it's, life happens.
Yes.
So at times I understand and I digress, but then times it's like, okay, we're on our flight, on our way up out of here. It's just
Right.
a dog. They
Right.
can call
Right.
the psychiatrist or something, because you need the little medicinal aid. Jesus, go call the psychiatrist, and we'll get with them when we get back.
Yeah, so you do have to whisper that. I think that's really the key, whispering that and saying, hey, baby, you gotta, because I need some me time too.
Yeah.
And you don't always. No, I didn't ask that question to some of our first ladies, but it's a young lady that's online. I can't think of her name. I want to have her on the show, and she brought to light the separation between husband and pastor.
Okay.
And I've always thought too, because I said to my husband, I said, I'm crazy about Bishop London. I said, but I'm having some problems with Larry. But I love him, and I want to be able to intertwine it. It is the same person.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you do need the pastor.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes you do need just your husband.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I
very
totally
good.
agree. I like how you put that.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look, the show is over. Now tell me what I told you were going to say.
Already?
Already. You heard that?
I can go all day.
And I love that. And we talked earlier. She said, well, can a first lady come back on the show? I guess we're going to have to make some adjustments to that. Is that okay, Jason and Ambrose? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I thank you guys so much for tuning in to the third season. I am so grateful to have Lady Sheena Richardson with me. And I know that we're going to see her again in the very near future, and some of her endeavors. And please invite me to some of the things that you guys go. We definitely put it in the atmosphere. And Michael, you already heard me, so she said she would be open to some of the things that we have involved. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is the third season. This is our first premiere. I think it went well.
Yes,
I'm so glad that you guys tuned in to be with us. If we had some technical difficulties, I do apologize. And before we get ready to go, I want to say this. I know that this is a good show. I know that the platform in which being represented here is much needed for first ladies. And we've got a lot of buy-in from pastors, and apparently you guys for tuning in to making this show what it is today. But I wanted to take this opportunity to thank my producer, Jason Lawson, and certainly Ambrose. He's our helper here.
Thank you.
Because it means the world to me to have a producer to believe in your show.
Absolutely.
Because if he feels it's going to be successful, then he's going to do everything he can do to make it successful. So thank you, Jason Lawson and Lawson's Production, for sticking and staying and making the show better and better. And again, I thank First Lady Sheena Richardson. And before we get ready to go, I want to thank you guys again. Thank you, God bless, and good night. And I'm going to give Lady Sheena Richardson an opportunity to say her farewells, her experience on the show, shout out anyone that she loves. So until then, take care and God bless. Lady Sheena Richardson.
Thank you all for tuning in. I'm not sure if everyone was able to make it, but it will be available on Facebook for you all to tune in later. I know a few people said they had a few Zoom meetings. They'll be on and off. And I first and foremost want to thank my husband for extending reaching out to
Yes.
Lady Lakeitha and extending the invitation for this opportunity. Everyone who knows me know I do not do public speaking, although it's not public. It's public enough. So it was such an opportunity. I was a bit nervous, as you all may know, but I made it to the end.
And even wanted more time. So
Thank
with that, I
y'all
just
who
wanted to have
engaged
this
as well.
opportunity. I'm sorry. And who do you want to say? Want to say something to your mom?
Yeah, thank you, Mom. If you were able to log on with the technical difficulties you were having.
And like she said, it will be available, and she can walk you through the Facebook channel later on.
Yes.
I said we were getting ready to go, but I just wanted to present my first lady guest. This says, read what that says.
Pastors are special, but a pastor wife is a blessing.
And
so
she
beautiful.
is a blessing.
Thank
And these are the
you.
t-shirts from my show. And it says
I
that I
am
am the greater woman behind the great man of
Thank
God.
you so
So
much.
thank you guys so much. Take
you.
care. God bless. And I hope to see you guys next Tuesday. Before we leave, this is a shout out to First Ladies. Anybody out there, if you guys want to see your First Lady take the first chair in this third season of First and Foremost, please reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or call into the show. So until next week, take care, God bless, and have an amazing evening.